I rarely went back to Florida for holidays, but this time my boss forced everyone to take 2 weeks off, so I had no excuse. I landed in Tampa on a Tuesday afternoon in March. The humidity hit me like a wet blanket the second I stepped out of the airport. I rented a car and drove north toward my parents' house in Wesley Chapel. The palm trees looked the same, the strip malls looked the same, but something felt different in my chest. I hadn't told them I was coming. I thought it would be a nice surprise, a way to reconnect after almost 2 years of phone calls and video chats that always felt rushed. I pulled into the driveway at 4:30 in the afternoon. My dad's old Ford truck was there, but so was a new white sedan. Nothing strange. My parents had friends, neighbors, delivery people. I walked up to the front door and tried my key. It didn't work. I tried again. Nothing. I knocked. A woman opened the door. She was maybe 45 with short black hair and a kind round face. She wore gray leggings and a blue sweater. No uniform, no name tag, but something about her posture said employee. She smiled wide. "You must be Vivian. Your parents talk about you all the time. I'm Elena. Come in, come in." I stepped inside and the air smelled different. Not like my mom cooking, not like my dad's cigars, like lavender air freshener and something else I couldn't name. The living room had been rearranged. The couch was against a different wall. My mom's china cabinet had been moved to the dining room. The photos of me as a kid were gone. My graduation picture, my soccer trophy, my school portraits, all replaced by generic prints of flowers and beaches. I stood in the doorway of my own childhood home, feeling like a stranger. Elena called out to my parents. My mom came first. She was drying her hands on a dish towel. Her hair was grayer than I remembered. She looked thinner. When she saw me, her face did something strange. It flickered between surprise and something else, something I couldn't name. "Vivian?" she said. "Why didn't you call?" I wanted to surprise you," I said. I hugged her. She felt small in my arms, like she had shrunk. My dad came out behind her holding a can of beer. He had a gut now, bigger than before. His face was red. He nodded at me. Didn't smile. Just said, "You're here?" That was it. I stood there in the living room, waiting for someone to say something else. No one did. Elena went back to the kitchen. I heard pots clanging. My mom sat on the couch and patted the seat next to her. "So tell us about Los Angeles." I sat. I told them about my promotion to senior project manager, about the new apartment I rented in Silver Lake, about my team of 47 people. My dad grunted. My mom nodded, but her eyes kept drifting toward the kitchen. Dinner was at 6. Elena cooked. She made pork roast with black beans and rice and fried plantains. Sweet plantains, the kind I never ate growing up. My mom used to make mashed potatoes and meatloaf. This was different. This was someone else's food. During the meal, my mom kept looking at Elena and smiling. "Elena, this is wonderful. Elena, you work too hard. Elena, please sit down and eat with us." Elena sat at the table. She ate quietly, while my dad asked me about my love life. "Anyone special?" he said. "No," I said. "I'm focused on my career." He snorted. "Career."
You're 33 years old. You should be thinking about marriage, about children, not about spreadsheets. I didn't argue. I just ate my plantains. After dinner, I stood up to clear the table. Old habit. Good manners. But my mom waved me off. "Elena will do it. She likes to help." I looked at Elena, who was already gathering plates. She smiled, but it looked tired. "Mom," I said, "we should clean up together. I barely see you. Let's do the dishes like we used to." My mom frowned. "Elena is part of this family now. She takes care of us. You're never here to help." I bit my tongue. "I work. I send you money every month. $5,000. Every month for 5 years. That's $300,000. Plus I pay Elena's salary, another $3,000 a month." My dad put down his beer bottle hard enough to make the table shake. "Money," he said. "You think money fixes everything? You didn't come home for Thanksgiving. You didn't come home for Christmas last year. We ate dinner alone. Elena made us a whole feast, but she shouldn't have to." "She is paid to be here," I said. The words came out before I could stop them. Elena stopped in the kitchen doorway. Her eyes got wet. She didn't say anything. She just stood there holding a stack of plates. My mom stood up so fast her chair tipped over and hit the floor. "How dare you? How dare you say that? Elena has done more for us in 1 year than you have in 10. She takes us to every doctor appointment. She remembers what medications we need.
She stays up with me when my arthritis flares up. She holds my hand when I cry. My dad pointed a finger at me. His face was purple. You want to know who our real daughter is? Look at Elena. Not you. Never you. I laughed. Not because anything was funny, because I didn't know what else to do. I send you $60,000 a year. I hired Elena. I pay her salary. And you're standing here telling me I'm the bad guy? Elena started crying. She put down the plates and walked out of the room. My mom followed her. My dad just stared at me with pure disgust. Then he got up and walked away too. I sat alone at the dining table for a long time. The food got cold. The clock ticked. I felt something break inside me. Not all at once, like a crack in glass that slowly spreads. Later, I went to find my old bedroom. The door was closed. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again. Elena's voice came through small and scared. Who is it? It's Vivian, I said. This used to be my room. I need to sleep. Elena opened the door a crack. Her eyes were red. Her nose was running. I'm so sorry, Miss Vivian. They told me to take this room. They said you never come home anymore. They said I could have the big bed. I looked past her. My bed had different sheets, bright floral patterns I didn't recognize. My desk was covered with hair products and makeup and a jewelry box. My closet door was open. Inside were clothes that weren't mine. Dresses, sweaters, shoes. A whole life that belonged to someone else. I didn't say anything. I just turned around and walked to the couch. I slept in my clothes without a blanket. The next morning, my mom handed me a cup of coffee and acted like nothing had happened. She sat across from me. She started talking about her coworker's son. He's 36, she said, works at the credit union, very responsible, very gentle. He has a house, he has a dog. You should let me introduce you. I don't want to meet anyone, I said. I'm not moving back to Florida. My mom clicked her tongue. You're not getting any younger, Vivian. What's the plan? Work until you drop dead in that expensive apartment with no one to find you? I have a life in Los Angeles. A career, friends, a gym, a book club. That's not a life, my mom said. That's just being busy. Being busy is not the same as being happy. My dad walked in and sat down at the table. He didn't look at me. He just said, you should quit that job and come home. Take care of us. That's what children are supposed to do. I can't quit, I said. I spent 10 years building my career. I manage almost 50 people. I have stock options. I have a reputation. I can't just walk away. Then you don't care about us, my mom said. Her voice got high and tight, like a rubber band about to snap. We're old. We're sick. We need someone. Elena has her own life. She can't be here forever. Elena came into the kitchen then. She poured herself coffee and sat at the table. She sat in my spot, the chair I always sat in as a kid. She acted like she belonged there, like I was the visitor. My phone buzzed. It was my cousin Jasmine. Hey girl, I heard you're in town. We're all meeting at the cemetery for Grandma Memorial Service. You coming? Yeah, I texted back. I'll be there. At the cemetery, I stood with my aunts and uncles and watched my parents stand next to Elena. They held her arms. They whispered to her. When my Aunt Patricia tried to hug me, my mom pulled her away. I saw her whisper something. I couldn't hear the words, but I saw Elena nod. After the service, everyone went to a restaurant called La Hacienda. We sat at a long table with a red tablecloth. The food came. Rice and beans and chicken and salad. Then my dad stood up with his glass of water. He cleared his throat. I have an announcement, he said. Everyone got quiet. Elena is going to become a legal member of our family. We are adopting her as our daughter. The table went completely silent. Someone dropped a fork. My mom smiled. Elena has been more to us than our own blood. She deserves this recognition. She deserves a place in this family. I set down my fork. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just sat there. Jasmine grabbed my hand under the table. Her grip was tight. After lunch, she pulled me aside by the bathrooms. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "Nothing," I said. "They made their choice. You can't just let them do this. They took your room. They gave away your place at the table. They announced it in front of everyone." I looked across the restaurant at Elena laughing with my parents. She looked genuinely happy.
Maybe they deserved each other. Maybe I was never the daughter they wanted. I went back to Los Angeles the next morning. I didn't say goodbye to anyone. I just left. A week passed, then 2, then a month. My parents posted on Facebook every single day. Elena cooking, Elena gardening, Elena holding my dad's arm at the park, Elena and my mom at the nail salon. The caption said things like, "Blessed beyond measure," and "Family is everything," and "So grateful for our daughter." I didn't like any of the posts. I didn't comment. I didn't call. I focused on work. I worked out. I went to book club. I pretended I didn't care. Then one afternoon, my phone rang. It was my mom. I almost didn't answer, but I did. "Vivian," she said, her voice sharp and annoyed. "Why didn't you send the money this month? And Elena paycheck didn't go through. The agency called asking questions." I leaned back in my office chair and looked out the window at the Los Angeles skyline. The sun was setting. The buildings were gold and orange. It was beautiful. I took a breath. "Mom," I said, "I stopped the payments." "What do you mean you stopped the payments? She's your daughter now. You adopted her. You announced it at the restaurant. She can take care of you now." "That's not funny, Vivian. This is serious. Your father needs new blood pressure medication. The AC unit broke. The repair is $2,000. "I'm not joking," I said. "You told everyone that Elena is your real daughter. You changed the locks on the house. You gave her my bedroom. You put her pictures where my pictures used to be, so she can pay for everything now. Don't you dare." My dad's voice boomed in the background. He was definitely on speaker. "We raised you. We fed you. We clothed you. We sent you to college. You owe us everything." "I owe you nothing," I said. "I sent you $5,000 a month for 5 years. That's $300,000. Plus Elena's salary, another $3,000 a month for 2 years. That's $72,000. You have no savings because you spent it all on things you didn't need. A new car? A vacation to the Bahamas? A golf cart? That's not my problem." "You ungrateful brat," my dad yelled. I could hear his voice cracking. "I'll sue you for elder support. I'll tell everyone in the family what you did. I'll ruin your reputation in this town." "Go ahead," I said. "I have bank statements. I have Venmo records. I have texts from Mom asking for extra money for a new purse last Christmas. I have everything. Good luck in court." I hung up. Then I blocked my mom's number. Then I blocked my dad's number. Then I blocked Elena's number just in case. Then I poured myself a glass of red wine and sat in the dark for a long time. I didn't cry. I just sat there, feeling nothing, feeling everything. 6 months passed. My life got better. Without the monthly drain, I saved almost $50,000. I put a down payment on a condo in Silver Lake, a real condo with a balcony and a view of the hills. I got promoted to regional director. More money, more responsibility, more respect. I stopped checking my hometown news. I stopped looking at Facebook. I told Jasmine I didn't want updates, but Jasmine kept calling anyway. Month 2, she called laughing. "Girl, you are not going to believe this." "What?" "Your parents are still posting Elena every day, but guess what?" "What?" "She stopped cleaning. She just sits on the couch all day watching TV. Your mom is cooking again. Your dad complained on Facebook that the house is a mess." I didn't laugh, but I didn't feel bad either. Month 4, Jasmine called again. "So Elena got a new car, a brand new Honda CRV. Your dad sold his fishing boat to pay for it. Elena said she needed it to drive your parents to appointments. But Jasmine saw her at the mall with some guy." "What guy?" "A boyfriend. She's been hiding him for months. Your parents don't know."
I hung up and went back to work. Month 6. Jasmine's voice was different. Low. Serious. No laughter. Vivian, your dad fell down the stairs. He broke his hip and his wrist. He's in the hospital. Alina didn't go with the ambulance. She said she had a migraine. Your mom looks terrible, like she aged 15 years in 1 week. Did she ask you to call me? I asked. She didn't say it, but yeah, she's hinting. She keeps crying about money. They let their good insurance lapse. They can't afford the surgery or the rehab. That's unfortunate, I said. Send them flowers from me. Nothing expensive.
They're your parents. I know. And they chose Elena. They made a public announcement in front of the whole family. They can live with that choice. Then Jasmine told me the rest. Elena had convinced my dad to sign over the house. She said it was to protect it from medical bills. She said it was just paperwork, just a formality. He signed it. Then she changed the locks. My mom came home from the hospital to get clothes and couldn't get inside. She called the police. The police came, but Elena had the deed. She showed them. She told the officers my parents were trespassing. She told them she was just a former employee who bought the house. She emptied their joint bank account too. She had power of attorney. My dad signed that too when he was still on painkillers after the fall. I sat on my couch in my new condo and stared at the wall. The room was quiet. The city was loud outside. I should have felt something. Sadness, anger, satisfaction, revenge. But I just felt tired. Bone tired. I'll fly out tomorrow, I said. I didn't fly out to hug them. I flew out with my lawyer. His name is Marcus. He's from a big firm in downtown LA. He specializes in elder fraud and estate recovery. He's expensive. He's worth it.
When I walked into the hospital room, my dad looked like a ghost. He was thin, gray, 20 pounds lighter. The right side of his face drooped. His eyes were cloudy. My mom sat in a plastic chair by the window. Her clothes were wrinkled. Her hair was greasy.
She looked small, old, defeated. When she saw me, she started crying. Vivian, oh, thank God. Thank you, thank you. You came back. You came back to us. I stepped back. I didn't let her touch me. I kept my distance. I'm not here because I love you, I said. My voice was flat. I'm here because I don't want your disaster to become my problem. This is a cleanup operation. Nothing more. My mom's mouth fell open. My dad tried to speak but only made a wet gargling sound. Marcus stepped forward. He introduced himself. He explained that he would handle all the paperwork, that my dad would go to a state nursing home called Golden Horizons, that my mom would go to an assisted living studio apartment in the same complex. A state facility? My mom whispered. Her voice was broken. But we had a beautiful home. We had a 3-bedroom house with a pool. We can't live in a place like that. You gave it away, I said, to the woman you chose over me, the woman you called your real daughter. But she tricked us. She manipulated us. We didn't know. You didn't want to know. You wanted a daughter who would stay home and cook and clean and obey you. That was never me. And you couldn't accept that. So you found someone else. I left the room. I didn't look back. Marcus stayed to finish the paperwork. I drove to the house. There was a sheriff deputy waiting for me at the curb. Marcus had arranged it. Emergency court order. I had the documents. We walked to the front door. The deputy knocked. Hard. 3 times.
A man opened the door. Big guy. Tattoos on his neck. Muscles. He was shirtless. "Who the hell are you?" he said. The deputy showed his badge. "We have a court order. Step aside." Alina came running down the hallway. She was wearing a silk robe. I recognized it. I bought that robe for my mom in Paris 3 years ago. $200.
When Elena saw me standing behind the deputy, her face went completely white. Every drop of color drained out. "Vivian," she said. Her hand flew to her throat. I smiled. "Nice robe, Elena. It looks good on you." "This is my house," she said. Her voice was high and shaky. "They signed it over to me. It's legal. I have the deed." "I don't want the house," I said. I walked past her into the foyer. The place was destroyed. Empty beer bottles everywhere. Fast food wrappers. Dirty laundry on the floor. The couch had stains. It smelled like stale smoke and something rotten. The tattooed man sat back down on my dad's recliner and turned up the TV. He didn't care. I walked to my dad's study. The lock on the filing cabinet was broken. Papers were scattered everywhere. Elena had been digging for cash, for bonds, for anything valuable. I calmly gathered the birth certificates, the medical records, the passports, the social security cards. I put them in my briefcase. "You think you're so smart," Elena said from the doorway. Her arms were crossed now. Her bravado was coming back.
You think because you wear a fancy suit and fly on airplanes that you're better than me? They hated you, you know? Every single night they talked about how cold you were, how selfish, how disappointed they were. I gave them love. I earned this house. I snapped my briefcase shut. I turned to look at her. She was pathetic, greedy, desperate, a parasite who thought she hit the jackpot. "You didn't hire a lawyer, did you?" I said, when they signed over the deed. "What are you talking about?" "You used a generic online form, a quitclaim deed. You transferred the title into your name, but you didn't do a title search." Her eyes darted around the room. "I don't know what that means. The house is mine. No mortgage. They paid it off 20 years ago." "They did?" I smiled. A slow smile. A sharp smile. 5 years ago, my dad decided to invest in his friend's restaurant. He gave him $400,000. He took out a home equity line of credit to get the cash. He lost every penny. The restaurant went bankrupt in 8 months. Elena's face went from white to gray. The tattooed man muted the TV. He was listening now. "They couldn't afford the monthly payments," I continued. My voice was quiet, calm. "That's why they pressured me to take the job in Los Angeles. The high-paying corporate job. The job they criticized me for, because it meant I couldn't come home. For the last 5 years, out of the $5,000 I sent them every month, $4,000 went directly to paying that loan." Elena took a step back. Her mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. "When I cut them off 9 months ago," I said, "the payments stopped. The bank has been sending warning letters for half a year, but my parents hid them. They were too ashamed to admit to you that they were broke. By transferring the deed into your name, you didn't just take ownership of the property, you assumed the debt attached to it." "You're lying," she whispered. Her voice was barely audible. "Check the mail," I said. The notice of default was filed 3 weeks ago. The bank is foreclosing. And since you emptied their bank account, which I have already flagged to the local district attorney as elder financial abuse, you don't have the money to pay the arrears." I walked past her. I stopped at the front door. "You have about 30 days before the sheriff comes back to evict you." I looked around the trashed living room. "Enjoy the robe, Elena. It's dry clean only." I walked out. The morning sun hit my face. Behind me, I heard the tattooed man start yelling at Elena. Then I heard something shatter. A glass, a plate, a vase. I didn't care. It was music. 2 days later, everything was finalized. My parents were moved into Golden Horizons. The facility was clean, highly regulated, state-inspected, and completely devoid of warmth. The hallways were beige. The floors were linoleum. The air smelled like bleach and boiled cabbage and old people. I stood at the door of their shared room. My dad was asleep in his adjustable bed. A tube ran into his arm. His breathing was heavy. My mom sat by the small window looking out at the parking lot. When she heard my heels click against the floor, she toned. Her eyes lit up with hope. "Vivian," she breathed. "The nurses said you paid for the premium cable package for us. They said you set up a trust." "I did," I said. I kept my distance.
I stayed by the door. You really do love us, she sobbed.
She buried her face in her hands. Her shoulders shook. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what we did, for what we said. When your father gets better, we'll come visit you in Los Angeles. We can be a family again. We don't need the big house. We don't need the pool. We just need you. I looked at her, really looked at her. I saw the woman who told me my career was a waste of time, who said I was embarrassing her by not being married, who called me selfish for living my own life, who replaced me with a hired stranger because I wouldn't quit my job and move home. Mom, I said gently. She looked up, wiping her tears. A shaky smile started to form on her lips. This is the last time we will ever speak. Her smile died instantly. Her face froze. What? Marcus set up an auto-pay trust. Your bills will be paid. Your rent will be paid. You will never be on the street. I have fulfilled every legal and moral obligation a child has to their parents. I adjusted the strap of my bag on my shoulder. But I am not your daughter anymore. You made that clear at the restaurant in front of the whole family. You made your choice. You can't do this, she screamed. She stood up. Her hands were trembling. We are your parents. You have to forgive us. We made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. Actions have consequences, I said. My voice was dead. No emotion. No anger. No sadness. Just fact. You wanted a daughter who was physically here every day. Elena is 3 miles away, dealing with a foreclosure and a grand larceny investigation. If you want to visit her, I suggest you call her. Charlotte, please, she wailed.
She rushed toward me. I stepped backward out into the hallway. I raised my hand to stop her. Goodbye, Mom. Have a good life. I turned and walked down the long, sterile corridor. I could hear her screaming my name. Vivian! Vivian, please! Come back! Please come back! The sound bounced off the linoleum walls. It grew fainter with every step. Nurses peered out of doorways. Residents in wheelchairs looked up. I didn't break my stride. I didn't look back. I walked through the sliding glass doors of the facility and into the bright, crisp Florida afternoon. The sun was warm on my face. The sky was blue. A bird was singing somewhere. My driver was waiting by the black town car. He held the door open for me. To the airport, ma'am? He asked. Yes, I said. I slid into the leather back seat. The door closed with a solid thunk. Take me home.